Hi beauties, it's Chelsea here. Welcome back to It's About Face. In today's video, I will be doing my big sister's makeup. Now my sister rarely wears makeup, and when she does, it's usually just a little bit of lipstick. So I wanted to kind of, challenge her to go a little bit out of her comfort zone. And she ended up loving this look. Now prior to applying makeup, I went ahead and moisturized her face as well as primed her eyelids off camera. Now, as you can see, my sister has very full brows already, so I mainly just apply concealer to shape the brows. And here I'm just taking that same concealer and bringing it all the way down just to prep her eyes for the eyeshadow. So first I'll be going into the James Charles palette by Morphe, and I'll be starting out with the shade Benny. I'll be placing Benny inside of her crease area, and this I'll be using as a transition color. So going back into that same palette, I'm going to be using this shade Code James and placing that just above where I placed Benny, making sure to blend that into Benny as well. You want to make sure that you're blending that because you want a smooth transition between one color and the next. So to intensify this look, I went in with the shade My Man from the Jaclyn Hill palette and placed it on top of Code James. So to finish up the base for this look, I'm going to go back into that same Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'll be taking the shade No Joke and placing it just above where I placed My Man.
It's rated X. That means you're extra.
So here I'm just reapplying each shade to make sure I don't lose the color payoff in the application process. Now after taking some micellar water and a Q-tip and removing the product from her eyelid, I went in with the blank canvas base from PLouise in the shade Rumor 0. I used this base because I want the eyeshadow on her lids to apply more true to color. As you can see, I'm placing that base on her eyelid using a patting motion. I made sure that I didn't use a sweeping motion or brush the base on her eyelid, as you get a more opaque payout when you do use the patting motion. And I'll be going back into that James Charles palette. I'll be placing the color B in the inner third of her eyelid. And now I'll be going back into that Jaclyn Hill palette using the shade My Man again, and I'll be placing that in the center of her eyelid. And now to smoke this eye out just a little bit, I'll be going back into the James Charles palette using the shade No Beans. So here I'll be going in with the Huda Beauty liquid eyeliner in the shade Very Vanta.
Your love is rated X. That means you're extra.
So after taking a second look at it, I realized that this just really didn't have the intense look of a sunset that I was going for. So I went back in with Vinny and placed it on the outer V corner of her eyelid. So for concealer, I went in with the e.l.f. Satin Finish Hydrating Camo Concealer in the shade Deep Cinnamon. And to set that concealer, I went in with the Becca Cosmetics Set and Refresh Powder in the shade Golden Bronze.
One of the best to ever do it.
And so for foundation, I'll be using the Morphe Fluidity Full Coverage Foundation in the shade F4.100, and this is in a matte finish. After applying foundation, the face becomes essentially a blank canvas, and it tends to lose the depth of certain facial features. To introduce those features back to her face, I contour and highlight. I place the Ben Nye banana powder in the areas of her face that the sunlight naturally touches. I then go in with the mineral powder foundation from Becca in the shade Cacao in the areas of the face that the sun wouldn't touch.
One of the best to ever do it.
And now I'll be prepping her for eyelashes. I go in and place a very thin coat of mascara to her natural eyelashes just to get those to adhere to the falsies when I apply those.
Your love is rated X. That means you're extra, extra.